This week marked the 25th anniversary of the only time prior to today that the Chiefs and Bills have ever met in the postseason. The occasion, the 1966 AFL Championship. And there are some memorable names and great stories from that frigid day in Buffalo.
Extra, read all about it. Extra.
It was a cold battle at War Memorial Stadium between the Bills and the Chiefs, the AFL title game. 1966, a memorable year in football history. Joe Collier and Hank Stram, the respective coaches, fighting for a championship. The winner would represent the AFL in Super Bowl I.
I had emotions because, tremendous emotions, because this was going to be the game that would get you to the Super Bowl. Of course, it wasn't called the Super Bowl at that time, but give us an opportunity to play against the National Football League champions. And that was what was at stake. So you can imagine the emotions were running on very high on both sides.
To give you an idea of what happened, how bad it was, the mismatch, they kicked off to us. Dudley Meredith caught the kickoff return, the lineman, got hit, fumbled. They went in and scored, and the game was over. I mean, we scored 7 points, oh, by the way, later on. But it was never a contest.
I try to forget the interceptions. I threw a critical one at the in the second half. Johnny Robinson, the very fine free safety of the Kansas City Chiefs, said he read my eyes, but I thought I was looking to the right and then came back and tried to throw a slant to my split end. And he came back, made the interception, and ran back about 70 yards. Just almost broke our back, but they were an awfully good team. There was great respect for the Chiefs. Dawson had a great year.
And we just felt confidence with Lenny out there. We call him Lenny the Cool, that he can direct our team. And also that, you know, we felt that if they can score some touchdowns, we can hold Buffalo to the minimum in points, and that we can beat them. Oh, you know, Otis and Lenny was a good combination. You know, when we was down in the dumps or something, you know, always you can pick out that Lenny is going to find Otis.
Lenny and I were on the sideline drawing plays in the mud. You know, we didn't have the blackboard or the chalkboard with the coach coming up and drawing the X's and O's. I was telling him something I could do, and I wanted to show it to him, and he was looking at me, and I was explaining to him, and I was drawing in the sand or the mud, whichever one it was. But we had a great football team. We had a great organization. I love all the guys I played with. I still see a lot of them, and I think it's beautiful.
The biggest thing that I remember about it, though, is I was so confident we were going to win, I'd already spent my Super Bowl paycheck. So that was a rather disappointing loss for us.
Whatever happens in the game between Kansas City and Buffalo is exactly the same thing that happened after the game in Buffalo 25 years ago. We met in the middle of the field to say, do it. For us, do this for the old AFL.
You know, I see Paul on television all the time. He was a terrible football player. He couldn't punt. He couldn't play linebacker. He couldn't do any of that stuff. I tell you, though, even then he could talk, and he still does a good job of talking.
No disputing that. You were there that day, covered the game, huh?
Yeah, I was, Bob. You know, it's the first time I've ever seen an NFL scout in a press box. I was always an American Football League guy. And for this game, they sent in Wally Cruz. He was in the Super Scout for the Packers. And Muggs Hallis come in from the Bears. They were looking at both teams. And what surprised me, later that day, Green Bay beat Dallas to get to the Super Bowl. And the next morning, I read in the papers Vince Lombardi saying, we won't even scout those guys. We don't care. They're nothing, okay? I couldn't believe it, but that was his attitude all the way to the Super Bowl. We're better. We don't care about them. And when they came to the game, they proved it.
Well, of course, the first Super Bowl was close until halftime. Then Green Bay won 35-10. And afterwards, Lombardi said to the press, okay, you want me to say it? You've been asking. They're not as good as the best teams in the NFL. But it was only 2 more years before the Jets beat the Colts. And then the next year, Stram's Chiefs came back and beat the Vikings. So it was 2-2 in terms of Super Bowls by the time the merger became effective.
Let me tell you something about that. That night, I spent in a hotel room in Long Beach, California with Hank Stram after they lost the game and 2 other sports writers. And all he kept on saying to us was, did Vince really say that? You know, and we had to say, yeah, he said it. He couldn't believe it.
You know, Stram won 3 titles in the old AFL. He won the one with the Dallas Texans. He won that one in '66 to get to the first Super Bowl, and then he won the one to get to Super Bowl IV, where he finally won it all when he beat the Vikings. We'll send you back for the second half kickoff from Rich Stadium.